Yeah, you know how much it costs us.
I'd like to call the May 19th Council on Aging meeting to order. With a roll call vote, Rosalie Benedetto. Karen Panett. Here. Jean Prado. Here. John Krasinski. Here. Marilyn Shapley. Here. John Carson. No. John Coco. No. You're not here.
I don't know, but I am.
Please, yes. It's not a favorite. Congratulations. Oh, Kate. Okay,
Yeah,
and Karen
here.
Janowski.
And Ron Powell's here too. Hold on. I
That's
can-
on screen.
That's anything. You would need to run.
Here too.
Ron's here. Here.
What do you say?
I'm here too.
I thought it said.
All right, good evening, everybody. I'd like to call the recreation meeting to order on May 19th. And if I could ask the members to introduce themselves.
Set there.
Melissa Pucci.
And Susan what?
Oh, one.
And Rich Hand. And tonight, we'd like to someone to make a motion to nominate Nancy as a voting member tonight.
Make a motion to elevate Nancy Dimlak to a voting member for tonight's meeting.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All right, so is that a vote?
Yes.
Stephanie, yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Rich Hand, yes.
Nancy.
Nancy, you are a voting member tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
And tonight we have one agenda item. The operations group is updating us on the software.
Jenna's gonna do it. She's just doing some legwork over here to
Okay.
make sure our Zoom is secure.
Good idea.
I don't need to go unconscious again. Hey.
If you didn't hear, we had some issues last week at our meeting.
We got Zoom bombed.
Well, yeah.
It was very harassing. It might maybe
I know,
not.
isn't it crazy? Crazy.
It was John.
You think it's funny, yes.
I wish they had a picture of all of us.
Our faces are better. Yeah, I mean, I can try my best here.
Who's that?
No, keep an eye.
Check. Okay, well, thank you all for being here tonight. I'm Jenna Wood, the Community Services Director for the Town of Reading. I do have a couple members of my team here tonight, Jim Sullivan, Recreation Administrator, Carrie Valley, EHS Administrator, and Ed Shambo, our Recreation Program Coordinator. So we don't have Emily here or John, but they were helping us behind the scenes, of course, and Jane. John, I think, is still on his travels overseas, which is a well-deserved vacation for him. So at the start of every presentation, we always include our mission, vision, and guiding principles. So those have not changed. They're just formatted a little bit different in this PowerPoint tonight. And we're here to talk about the new software program. So what is a program software? It's designed to help our organization plan, manage, deliver programs and services efficiently while improving the experience for both staff and community members. At the core, it's to centralize operations. So many community centers have systems like this to manage all of their programs, their rentals, their social services, various things inside their building. The software brings all of these things into one system so the staff can schedule, assign instructors, manage the facilities, track participation without relying on scattered spreadsheets or manual processes. For instance, right now in our recreation software, there is no place for rentals. Same thing in the My Senior Center. All of our rentals have to be done manually on different spreadsheets. And Jim specifically with rec has to track all of the field scheduling on, I was using a Google Doc. I don't know what you use.
Excel
Yeah,
spreadsheet.
an Excel spreadsheet. So managing, 10 plus fields on that with several organizations and high school sports, it's pretty crazy. So having this new system, we'll be able to manage a lot of our rentals and field rentals on this system, which is really great. So a lot of people are asking, why one software system? Well, we're going into a new building. We're all going to be there together. We didn't want folks to come in and be checking in at all different places. We wanted a centralized location with one software where people can come and check in. We know they're in the building. We know they're safe and they're accounted for, and then they go to their activity. So right now with our new system, a lot of our 60 plus are registering in advance for programs and things like that. So that'll still be tracked in the system. And rec already does that. Everyone has to pre-register for their programs and things like that. So it allows us to not juggle separate systems and memberships. And again, the room rentals and the check-ins just makes it more centralized. It improves our customer experience, promotes inclusivity in a community space. It's a consistent process where all the users interact with the same platform, reducing the risk for unequal access or miscommunication. We're going to have a lot of part-time staff in here. So we also didn't want several volunteers or part-time front desk staff learning multiple systems. It's just not realistic and very confusing. So how did we get here? The staff met and interviewed multiple program software companies. We made a request for quotes and which were sent out to each of those companies. We worked with the procurement office to streamline that process and make sure we did everything that we needed to from a legal standpoint. We sent that out in December and selected a company, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks after, based on cost and the ability to serve our community needs. So introducing Rec Technologies, which I'm sure a lot of you have already heard, especially if you're coming to the senior center right now. So it's a California-based company. They're newer to the East Coast, but they have several different communities that they work with across this entire country, but they're just now getting into the East Coast. So these are some towns that use the software, and the Danvers Senior Center is using this software for payments and all that good stuff. They are still using My Senior Center too there, but they're a senior center only, which does make sense. So the new website is up there. Elder Services currently is taking registrations on RecTech. We started everything in March for Elder Services, and then Rec will be starting to take registrations probably in August, right?
Yep.
So when did we roll it out? We rolled it out January through March. We advertised it in the pleasantries, announced it at classes and email blasts. Even before that, in December, staff was going around and letting people know what was on the horizon, even before that, and then talking to people about the different payment systems that were coming down the pike that, we would have to start paying again. And this is why we're implementing the new system. So multiple presentations and trainings occurred with staff and the 60 plus community. The staff has been on call to help at any time. And a big thanks to Linda, who works at the front desk. She's our clerk. I know, she's awesome. So she has been on the front lines more than anyone. So if someone comes in and hasn't registered for an account, she's the one that is checking them in, making sure they're set up with their account, getting them a password while answering the phones and just getting bombarded on a daily basis. And she was one of the first ones that was trained on the system and really stepped up and learned it and sat down with myself and Dan. And then obviously shortly after that, the whole team kind of just spearheaded together and really locked in and started a really good training with each other and with Dan, who's our rep from RecTech. So it is a learning process for the 60 plus and for staff. Obviously, we're kind of all learning it simultaneously, but it's going well. It's been a couple months. And like I said, we started the registrations March 23rd. This is just a little bit of the marketing that we had. There's a few other things too that we have. We have email blast, headlines and the bottom of the emails that we have. We have this, just how to create your account. So whenever someone came in for a training session, we could hand this to them. And it was very helpful. We did have several people create accounts on their own. So they have been doing a really great job. So just some quick stats from March until now. We've had 409 people registered in the the RecTech software. We've had over 1,000 transactions, over 2,700 enrollments in programs and events, and over 200 payments received. So what have we been hearing? Positive feedback on ease of finding programs on registering specifically on laptop and desktop computers. Participants like that they can still call to register over the phone and talk to someone in person or at the front desk. It's hard to navigate the website on a cell phone and an iPad. So a lot of people come in with their cell phone and they have it on Zoom, or, they're fat fingering and they get to a different screen. So even with myself, going on my phone is fairly different than going on a desktop or a laptop. So we encourage people to use their desktop or their laptop if they can. But RecTech is working on fine tuning the software so it's easier to use on your cell phone. Many password reset requests, people forgetting their passwords. I don't know if that's died down or not.
I think I have them all memorized. It's working out great.
Some other feedback we've had was that people register for stuff, but then they don't know where it is on their account. So we have to show them where it is under their reservations. So once you're registered for something, there's places where you could look at your account information, how much money you paid, what you're registered for. Another cool feature that people really like is the fast track. I know Rosemary's used it before, but if something like the Mother's Day tea, we have a certain date that people had to sign up on, and registration started on X date, but it was advertised on the website. So you could put it in your fast track and then it reminds you to sign up for the program, which is pretty cool. So a lot of people have been using that. I've seen a ton. And no system has everything. Right now, RecTech doesn't have a place to take confidential notes for social services. So in my senior center, they have a place where they can take confidential notes and it's only available to Carrie or whoever she wants to see it, in or live. So we have to keep my senior center for those social services notes. Again, RecTech is looking into creating something like that is safe and confidential. But my senior center is very low cost. So we think keeping that for that social services piece won't be too much of an issue. And the other thing is the transportation. So there's no other platform that has transportation other than my senior center. There's Civic Plus who started to roll something out, but it's just not as comprehensive as my senior center. So we'll have to keep the transportation in my senior center, which also makes sense because we have a transportation coordinator who should be facilitating all of that on his own. So we don't think that that's a big issue, but we're hoping that RecTech will take our advice and look into these things. We've also came to them with several other suggestions and they've already implemented them over the course of a couple of months. So they are very responsive. So the next steps are implementing the scanners at the Pleasant Street Center. So instead of them coming in and scanning in from my senior center, they'll come in and scan right into RecTech. We have our Tech Talk volunteer, John Tedesco, coming in to train current and new users who want some freshening up or they're having trouble with the system. And we're going to roll it out to the rest of the community through recreation in August for the fall programs. And we're going to continue to train our staff and continue to learn the new software. And hopefully by next August, when Recal opens, we'll be in good shape. And that's it.
Is there still overlap for the old system to this system, or is that gonna end in August, did you just say?
So right now, we're still in a transition period with the softwares. We have to get the scanners hooked up here. And then when rec goes into the new system in August, there'll be a transition period for them as well. They'll probably still have to use MyRec for some things until everyone shifts over into Rec Tech. So hopefully by like next spring, we'll all fully be into the new system. But Elder Services will obviously be there probably sooner than Rec, because they'll have scanners here.
Yeah.
And all of that.
Jenna, this is a newer company, correct?
Mhm.
And my senior center has been around, I think, for several years. What was the reason why we switched over to a newer company? Was it the cost? I mean, where they don't seem to have other programs that are needed right now?
Yeah, so my senior center is a very outdated platform. Even my rec that the rec department uses is again an outdated platform, more updated than my senior center. But still an outdated platform. So Rec Tech's only been around for 5 or so years, but they're very innovative and forward thinking. The owners and founders created Uber. So the Uber app and all of those things. So and my senior center doesn't have capabilities to rent rooms. You can't send out email blasts. Just certain things that are a little outdated.
What was the cost for this system?
I believe I don't know the exact amount, but I believe it's around 15,000.
For the entire system?
Yep. Per year.
Oh, okay, but what was the initial cost? So that's like maintaining it,
Yeah.
but there must have been an upfront cost for purchasing the system and getting it installed.
I think there was a training fee associated with like all the training that was separate from the software cost. If that makes sense. Again, I don't know that number, but
That makes sense, but I'm still saying that there had to have been an upfront cost for the purchasing of the software and the installation of the software. If you could
it's
find out what the total cost
sure
to
with
bring this on board,
sure.
I'd really like to see those numbers.
Yeah, there was a cost associated again with the training of the staff.
Yeah.
But then there's just a flat fee for the year.
Correct.
So I can definitely provide that. And just as just for your knowledge, my senior center is around 2,500 a year and rec was spending 12,000 a year for my rec, and that fee was going up. So they probably would have been paying 15,000 for that software, the same software next year. So it's commensurate in price.
But,
Nancy got her hand up first.
Okay.
Corner of my eye.
actually, I have a comment and a question. The comment is that what I really like about this new system is that it sends you a reminder. So you get a reminder that you've got to show up for your class or whatever, which is really neat. And I'm assuming that's all automated. My question was, is there any way, or are you looking into rebranding the look of the software so that instead of it saying rec, it might say Recal or?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we've already talked to Jane about that too, and she's definitely on board. So what would happen is you would still type in the URL that you see, but then it would reroute you to, Reading Center for Active Living.org or recal.org. Well, we're hoping that can happen. That's the
Could
goal
be
of
the
all
other
of
way
us.
around, you'd put in Reading, like, could be recal.com and it's gonna send you to that site, so something that
Right.
doesn't say rec.usa.
And,
be like
and
a-
maybe update the photos that are on it too, so that it's
Yep.
a wider audience.
Yeah, definitely. We have capabilities to change some photos, and then if you go to the actual website as well, you'll see how it's formatted at the top and it says art, events, all that. So when rec hops on, it'll say 60+ programs, rec programs. So it'll be a lot more streamlined like that.
It's only gonna say you had 60+ programs, would it say a gathering place for 60+?
Well, I'm just talking about when you're registering for the program. So what it will say at the top. Let me see if I can pull it up.
Opens right from the beginning, are seniors gonna be mentioned, or is it all gonna be?
So there's no way to, on the platform, to put anything as like a headline, I don't think. I can ask. How do I get? Yeah, I'm trying to. Oh my gosh, how do I get out of this thing? I don't wanna,
You are from tomorrow.
it's like full screen and I'm just trying to make it not full screen. Oh, exit full screen. Hold on. I'm gonna pull up the website. So you guys can see.
The other thing we were finding was people were putting the Google search rec in Google, and it was coming up to the old rec system at town hall, so everybody was signing up for rec. My rec, and going, I can't get into any of the program, but we figured out that they were putting it in the Google search, not the web search.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so here's what it looks like right now when you go on, just a nice little shot of a town. I don't think that's even our town right now.
I think it is.
But we can do anything we want, I think, up there. But it's, and we could put alerts here at the top. But this is what it'll look like. What I was referring to was these little things right here. When rec hops on board, they'll be a little bit different.
But where do you click for senior activity?
These are all senior activities right now. So, yeah.
How do you know what's your senior? It just says town of Reading programs.
Yeah, they're all senior programs right now, so they're not defined by ages yet because they're all 60+. We haven't rolled it out to the community. The community doesn't even, as a whole, doesn't even know to come to this website yet because they're using rec.
So only Pleasant Street Center people.
Actually, anyone only over 60, because you have to enter a birthday to register.
Yeah,
Okay. Is that required now?
It's,
When we registered you before, you didn't have to put the birthday in.
right, it's
You
required.
could go back, but now
Right,
it's required in registration.
Yeah. We made that a requirement because I need everyone's birthday.
Yeah.
I mean, I want it in case we have a medical issue here and I have to call fire.
So
Yeah.
I'm just confused. I understand that we're in process, but when it's fully launched, will there still just be something that says programs? And there's no distinction between rec programs and elder services programs?
so right here,
Yeah,
do you see where my mouse is?
yeah.
It'll say 60+ programs or anything you want. It could say 60+ arts and culture, 60+
Okay.
community lunch or,
And it's.
Yeah.
Do we have any option under our heading? It's just the town of Reading. I see that. I would think I was looking at town hall stuff. Can we say town of Reading Region Center for Active Living or something like that?
maybe,
Because
I
that's
could
what
ask.
This is all about. It's not about the whole
Yeah.
town of Reading.
Yeah,
And even maybe a sentence that says for town activities, you know,
Yeah, I'm sure.
administrative go to the website and small.
Yeah, I'm open to that. We probably wouldn't do it right away because it's not open, but
No, I
definitely in the
understand
future. Yeah.
Us.
Yeah, definitely.
Could you
Can ask.
do a water in color? And then that highlights recount. Something, and then put the classes underneath. So just something that catches the eye that it's not town DPW officer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kana. That's great. Great suggestions.
So is the site ADA compliant? Do we know?
We talked about that, so they're working with a third party, they know about those laws that are coming, I think it just got pushed back to next year where all the sites have to be ADA compliant, so.
Okay.
They're working with a company that will make it so that it's ADA compliant.
Okay, and you know, you said you did some ongoing training with the 60+ community. Before you roll it out to the rest of the community, do you plan on hosting any sort of trainings for the community at large?
I think we'd probably do it exactly how it was done prior, so. Same exact way. Yeah, I know it changes hard, like I don't like getting a new cell phone. Am I liking switching software? No, but it's gonna help us in the long run down the road, so it's just difficult getting used to. Right away, 10 years from now, if we switch a software, we're gonna be like, why did we leave this one? We're going to a new one, so.
Yeah.
I feel it, but yeah, I think doing the same thing where we have. Someone here that can help teach, or whether it's come down to town hall, we get in the select board room and have some hours. We definitely wanna make sure that everyone is up to speed before we get in recal, and I think that's why. This little kind of, I don't wanna call it a soft launch, but it's kind of been a soft launch, has been good. To get most people involved, but we're starting in August with ours. We have a big flag football program and we get 800 people that sign up in like 2 minutes. And I didn't want to bring in this new software and say, you need to register now or you might not get in, and then nobody has an account. So we're opening up our flag football program early August, and then the rest of our program will start to roll in for the September months.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like with digital equity and, you know, part of digital equity is having the skill to be able to access it.
Mhm.
The technology, so just wondering, do we have a plan in place to address that on an ongoing basis, like with ongoing trainings for new members that are coming to the senior center, or new members that might be new to the rec department, or
Yeah.
have
I'm
ongoing
wondering if-
trainings for that?
Yeah, I'm wondering, that's a good question. I'm wondering if we could just create like
Set
a
up
little.
program
Yeah, exactly. Create a little program and put like training sessions.
once a month.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, one more question. You mentioned about passwords. So are somebody able to go on the site itself and have a password reset, or do they actually need a staff member to help with that?
Yeah, so staff does need to reset the password on our end.
But I think they can do it too.
Oh, can they do it by,
Yeah,
oh,
I
by
just
getting an
think
email sent to
I've
them?
had to help a lot of people.
Okay, that's
I
why,
think I
because
did.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah, you
I
probably
did.
did. I've had to help a lot of people. It's just
Yeah,
because, yes.
well, that's part of the digital equity,
Right.
but maybe, you know, having a specific training on something like that would be
Right.
helpful if that continues to be an ongoing. need.
Right.
So,
Is there gonna be multi-factor authentication for people logging in? Because data security is a big issue these days.
I don't know. I'm sure we could ask.
If the cars are being held on there, I'm pretty sure it has.
It has to be, yeah. Ask if that exists.
Hey, Jen, good.
Yeah.
Thanks, and I know you're not there yet, but when you get there, just trying to understand what the vision will be in organizing paths, because rec, as I understand it, is all ages, right?
Yep.
So it's all ages and there's 60+, but 60+ also are part of rec. I don't know how you're envisioning making the decision tree sort of, but I'm just wondering about it. And I know you're not there yet, but.
Yeah, so I would say that, and you guys can chime in, Ed or Jim, like if it's a 60+ fitness program,
It's gonna be in the 60+ section,
right?
regardless if it's being run by the Council on Aging or rec, it's gonna be in that 60+.
But if there's something like line dancing that could be for anybody, you're making your own judgment whether you need a special class or not. You can just go ahead and do a all ages line, I know you haven't made all those decisions yet. It's
Yeah, we
just
could do
my
adult
brain's-
programming for that.
That sounds good.
I do wanna say, it is very easy to register on this. A whole bunch of us who did register through the senior center just followed the instructions, you know, Jenna said if you start here and you've got a pretty, your one pager is really pretty clear about walking yourselves through the step to register, though it sounds like the process might have changed a little bit, as you've been fine tuning it. So that piece is really easy. I would encourage you to be a lot more explicit with what you're saying to people, because like, I just had someone say to me today, the other day. Was I supposed to know that my senior center was going away? And I said, well. They never really came out and said that, because the implication is, this is taking the place of my senior center. But not everyone makes that leap with you in the head, so for rec. You should be really clear when you're talking to people that as of such and such a date, your current system, my rec at home, is going away, you must do this, because. People, and in this person's case, they've been away a lot this winter, and so, they may have missed some of the newsletters and stuff, and so. They were just completely taken aback that my senior was completely gone at this point in terms of registration. So,
It's not.
can you
not-
still register on
You
things?
can some things, yes, so
On
we're
some
still
things.
transitioning,
Okay,
and I think we're gonna be transitioning. I was thinking like 6 months. Right,
Well, once the scanners are in.
I mean, I don't wanna do it 6 months, but I think that some, just making sure we grab every person that walks in can be, if we're busy, can be challenging.
so. Are all things on Rec USA and then some things on my senior center?
Yes.
Okay, so if I do sign into my senior center, I might find some things, but I'm not
Correct.
gonna find everything.
And it's
Okay.
given us all that, yes.
Do you?
Hey,
Oh, sorry.
I guess my question, so it sounds like great news, just like over 400 people registered, right, for the thing. How many people were on my senior platform? Do you feel you're close to that number?
Well, my senior center had. Was.
8,000?
18,000?
Oh, wow.
No.
No, I think it was like 8.
I'm giving you, let me
Well, you
look,
can just round numbers.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But
Because
even
my
with
brain
like
is-
that
Yeah.
software and with the rec software, how many do you have? Like
Right now?
10,000?
No, probably closer to 25.
20? And
But
a lot of
folks have
those,
moved away,
right, like the software platform has been up for like 14 years, so you're gonna get people who,
No longer, right.
right.
I'm just wondering, how do you feel about the 400? I mean, do you feel,
I think it's great because I think it reflects the unique
Right.
participants that come here.
Yeah,
I mean, to me, it seemed like a lot
Yeah,
in a very short time. So that's,
it's a lot more than I expected, I'll
Yeah,
tell you
yeah,
that, I
same
was
here.
shocked,
yeah,
Pretty impressive.
I was
Yeah.
impressed.
yeah.
Well, except that it reflects in fact, it's a little higher than the average number of unique participants every month in an event here at the center. This Carrie reports to us every month, how many unique individuals
Yep.
participated. And those numbers have been fluctuating between 200 to 300, I think.
It's between, I think it's like between 300 and 400, I think it's
Yeah,
pretty
so-
accurate.
So the 400 is very reflective of the total population that's participating in events
Right.
currently at the senior center, because it's the only way to register for anything that's going on at the senior center.
Yeah.
So you had to register.
But do you feel that, I mean, like I said, to me, like, this seems like a high number, and it's a great number, right? So
Well,
short
unless you're
time.
looking at 75,000
Well, right, that's what I was.
seniors in town, then
Right,
it's
right.
not a great number.
Yeah, we have 11,000 people listed in my senior center.
Yeah, but Jen was saying, some of the
Have,
people.
I mean, that's over 15 years.
Right,
Yeah.
right, so that's.
So it's a good way to clean up.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a very good point, yeah. And then how do you feel about future state? 5 years from now, like adding on different things, like if you feel companies can help work with you guys in terms of adding, yeah, I don't know what it is now, 5 years from now.
Adding what?
like
I don't know.
transportation or confidential notes. some of those
Yeah,
things.
things
To
that
grow with
would
you.
come up, you know, like,
Depends.
you talked about this company is founded by Uber, which is a very technology driven company, and they're always updating technology. I just think if, you know, future state in terms of how, you know, things change, and you might need it for something you're not thinking about right now. I'm just curious how well you feel if this company is to say, hey, 5 years from now, we want X.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident that they'll be able to work with us and create new things as we go.
Yeah.
Right.
I just want to clarify something and maybe I'm misunderstanding. But I talked with a director's a senior center director in Newburyport. And she talked about how my senior center was so important in terms of numbers and that it syncs with the state in terms of reimbursement. So I just wonder about that. Is that accurate?
Yeah, so the formula grant has nothing to do with numbers, number of participants or anything. That's all based on the number of senior citizens that are in the town.
Okay.
So that has nothing to do with the money that we get, which is great, but they do have the capability to go inside my senior center and pull the numbers and the data. And then, but Carrie now has researched that, right, about what
Yes.
that entails.
Yes.
And it seems to not be an issue.
It's not as heavy of a lift as I had once thought.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Because
it
we don't
is-
want to give you more work.
No, no. I mean, it's a different way of doing it, but it's workable.
It is,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And within this new system or?
I think what I just have to go in and do is count how many exercise classes we have. They wanna know like how many we have going active. So instead of it pre-calculating for me on my senior center, I just have to go, well, oh, there's 7, which I know there's 7 or 6 or whatever. And I then put the number into a spreadsheet.
Is that something that this new company would be willing to, a new feature that they would add?
I don't think so, because I have to tell you, a lot of senior centers just started using my senior center recently, like a lot of senior centers were using paper, like very old school. And so a lot of senior centers are calling me like, how do you do this? Cause they're using my senior center as if it was just launched.
Okay.
So that's a new concept for a lot of other places, so I think that this new system for us, they're not gonna need to have the capability, cause everybody's kind of they were all doing it their own way. I think some people were just using it to do the reports, because this was the only system that was available to most elderly.
Okay,
senior
so you don't
centers.
see that as an obstacle? It's-
No.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
I researched, believe me, I
understood.
went to Jenna and said, I'm researching this.
Yes.
Does this new site have, like, does it pull data analytics for you? Like,
Yeah,
is there an
it
admin
does.
page that
Mhm.
has, so you don't have to like
Right,
count?
right.
Yeah, so I-
Well, I mean, I was kind of, because I was like, how do I do this?
Yeah,
I mean, I'm still learning it too. Jenna's like, no, you're.
Yeah,
close to
I
us."
I just don't wanna pull.
But the system does produce reports.
Not the same way, but it does produce reports.
And Jim, that's the same for you as well, like you want us to figure out how many
Full of
fields are.
participations, demographics, the ages we're missing, and they have an AI feature in there too, so you can actually ask AI to find you this and then shoot out this stuff, and it just pumps it all out for you.
Oh, that's great.
Can you, Gary, will it generate something that will tell you that between 10 and 11, this many people were in a program in the building somewhere, and of those people, how many were in this class versus this versus this?
Does it break it down? Like, I think it does.
So what it will do is people will pre-register for those classes and you'll be able to pull the numbers from that data. But if someone just comes in and checks in and they use the walking track or go get coffee,
Right.
they'll be tracked in the system, but it won't say like, oh, I'm here for coffee or I'm here for the walking track, that type of thing. Yeah.
What I'm waiting for is, I wanted to understand how the building as a whole is being used at any one time. It's not just
Yeah.
one class by one class by one class, just how many are in here doing something?
Yeah, and we'll have that.
Those can we subcategorize them?
Yep. Again, there's no way to subcategorize if someone comes in to use the walking track unless they're not, I guess, registered for something in theory. I guess you could say that they're there for the walking track or to socialize.
That's, maybe.
Yeah, we wouldn't have someone pre-register to just like drop in and like, socialize, probably,
Yeah, we're gonna drop in.
It's walking, yeah.
Walk-in, yeah.
yeah, so in this software, you'd pre-register for your class, but once you get there, there's no way for you to be like, oh, I'm here for this, click. Like you would go into your class, then you'd already be pre-registered and the instructor would check you in.
It's it's not visual.
Yeah,
Also, and I could be wrong, but Chris had once told me that he kept the list of all the people that get the pleasantries distribution in my senior center as well. And that's part of why the list is so long. One's nodding yes, the other one's saying.
I'm just agreeing with you, like, ask a good question. I'm not answering.
Oh, okay, I'm just quoting what I.
That's not where I get my,
Okay, so it's maintained separately. so-
yes, yeah.
Okay, because that added to his participation numbers. These are people that were monthly outreach kind of things, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is this a, did you have to sign a contract for so many years? Or is this like a yearly subscription? Like if it doesn't, if you use it after a year or so, you can bow out and find something else?
Oh, that's a great question. I forget if it's a year or 3 years. I'd have to check. I can check on that.
Going back.
I hope that doesn't happen.
I know, but you know, sometimes you think it's hard until you utilize something to
Right.
know for sure if it's gonna
Yeah,
meet everyone's needs.
it's a great question. Yeah.
Going back to reports, is the new system going to be able to generate the reports that, for example, the Council on Aging now receives? Can you duplicate that report
So.
that you hand out at the Council on Aging?
So I think Carrie has been doing a great job at navigating both the old system and the new system to get that information. I think pulling the report in the new system has been a little bit less intuitive because we're just getting used to how to do it. Carrie, do you have any feedback on that?
It's much different. It doesn't produce it because we're all used to that way.
Yeah.
And it doesn't produce it exactly the same.
But it does.
It produces
Produces.
stats, so the stats might come out a little different. So my report, my little box thing with all the things, that might be changing once we're fully in. So we'll have to all adjust. Looking at it differently. But I think that's okay.
Yeah.
Because we're getting a rough idea of who's entering the building. And who's attending the programs too, and then I'll have my social service stats still through my seniors.
And those you input yourself.
Yes. Me and. Me. The case manager, me and the case, as the case manager has the.
So it sounds like you would get the same information. It might be a little
Just a
bit
different
more
way.
cumbersome.
Yes, right.
But.
Well, because my senior
those-
center is meant for
I know.
elderly interactions.
And those reports, I think, the Council on Aging, those have been very helpful to see every month. So if you can generate those reports in a either similar format or with similar statistics,
Mhm.
I think members would appreciate it.
Mhm.
It was mentioned that also, the new site will be able to do rentals on this program. How is that going to separate in a budget where the incoming revenue is determined? Is it senior center or is it rec?
Sure.
Or does it go into one bundle?
Yeah, so they are all associated through GL codes, and they go into their appropriate accounts. I would assume that the GL code for all the rentals would go through whoever is funding the part-time staff, which we think that it would be recreation, that all these people would get hired under recreation, the part-time desk staff, because they already have a pretty good buffer with all of their existing programs and they can sustain that level of funding for the part-time staff. So I think the rentals and all that would be better suited under the rec revolving fund, but that's definitely something that we could still discuss. But it's an easy thing to do either way. It can go into rec, it could go into EHS. It's just all kind of an administrative thing, really.
Down the road, might it make sense to have a recount revolving fund?
So the recal will have its,
Someone's gonna-
yeah, the recal will have its own operating fund.
Sell a revolving fund?
No, No,
So if
it'll
the
be
guy-
funded out of the town taxpayer dollars, just like the operating fund for EHS.
So if the garden club wants to rent, that's all ages, it's also senior, it's, you can see it a million different ways.
Mhm.
It just seems like that's a generic, a benefit of having retail, not a rec thing or an.
Yeah, and you could also create a rentals revolving fund if you wanted to,
Right, that-
and those rentals pay for the part-time staff or for the program supervisors that Jim will have at night for the rentals in the gym. So, do you have any thoughts on that, or?
No, I mean, I agree. I think having that, like, I look at like what I have now is I get field fees too. They all go into the rec revolving fund, so it certainly gets muddy. Like, I'm sure we'd love to just see rentals. We brought in this much rentals, and then where's that money going? What are we using for? Are you using it? Are we using it to maintain the building, to purchase stuff for the building, for the specific room? So I do like the idea of having a separate revolving fund for rentals. That's not yours, not ours.
Right.
It's the buildings.
Okay, I've got a question for you. It says August is coming up. Have you guys started your communication plan yet?
So we're, like, Jenna and Elder Services did, we're meeting weekly with Dan Jenner to go with our rollout plan. So like right now on my emails, there's a little banner right now that says, hey, Reading, we're getting ready to switch over to a new software.
Nice.
So we'll be doing email blasts. We'll set up some time for folks to come in to do trainings to get that set up. We want to do it well before we open anything,
Yeah,
but the flag football stuff is throwing us off right now, so.
yeah.
I don't wanna put stuff out there and then people look to register at 8 AM that morning and then they're jumping to the wrong website.
Yeah, good
And
point.
then
Good
Sue is
point.
on the phone for 6 hours straight,
Good point. Yeah.
so. Yeah,
That's a good call, probably, like I say, wait till that big push is
100%.
over with, yeah.
If we were going to the new software, I would not be in on that day when we open registration.
Right.
I would be, but yeah, so yeah, we'll roll it out like they did. I'm pretty confident, just seeing the success that the 60+ community had, seeing all those registrations. I'm hopeful it'll be very similar. We have had some folks already register. We've seen when we've gone in there, we've seen some of our families in there without even really promoting it. So we are starting to see some of our families get in there already.
Okay, so I'm not sure, but am I right that community education out of the school is using MyRec as their, so are they switching to this?
I hope not.
Oh,
If they're
okay.
listening. There's a lot of confusion with that. They had switched
Okay.
over to it 2 years ago. The person who runs it, he came from the rec world and he knew that system. So when he went over to community ed, he
Okay.
brought that system over there. So once a day, we're getting calls like, we're looking for the after school program, like we're on the website, we can't find
Yeah,
it.
it has been a little confusing, but
Agreed.
that's also just a way, I mean, that's separate from the
Yeah.
underlying technology, but I just thought I had heard that they were using
Yep.
MyRec as their underlying technology, but it's not because they're connected to you at all.
No.
Anyway, he just picked that.
Because,
Okay,
yeah,
that makes sense then,
Yep.
okay.
good catch. I didn't notice that.
Yeah, just thinking of outreach, certainly many of the people who are on the list that you've got carrying aren't even perhaps with us anymore,
Right.
whatever, or they've moved or.
I do read the obits.
You do what?
I read the obituaries quite frequently.
Well, I was thinking about.
The obituaries.
Oh.
To those who still are
Yes.
active, just it would be a good outreach exercise, maybe the council could send postcards or something. If we could pare it down to the list that we think are still, they're not 200, most likely, not, I mean, literally, they're not 200. But someone who's 100 and under, or 110 or under, whatever, who hasn't yet signed up, maybe a postcard or something is outreach with, by the way, you see you haven't registered.
I do have to say, I lost quite a few of frail homebound clients this year, like a significant amount.
But I don't doubt that for a
Yeah.
second, but there still is an outreach exercise that's
Right.
large, given the range of numbers. I think personally, I think it would be something worth discussing, how to do some outreach to make sure they're aware and not just put off by it all or.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, and then you can maybe couple it with the survey too. You could say, hey, we have a survey and.
Yeah.
And here's the new
also just
software.
an FYI. I'm
Yeah.
sure there are people that still don't even know there's a new senior center coming within the brief hour.
People that come here still don't know. The people that come here still have.
There's people who stop by the site and they're like, what's going here?
Yeah.
To the contractor.
Exactly, so the earlier we can
Yeah.
start building some enthusiasm, the better, and also get you a better list to work
Yeah,
with. And
yeah.
the whole, it's a win-win, I think, all the way around, so something we could discuss.
And I encourage people to drive by. I went by today. I go by at least once a week, if not twice, to see how things are progressing. And they are. There was a lot of activity, especially at Recap.
The foundation's going in now, you can
Yeah.
actually see the outline of the building, which is
Yeah,
pretty
I
neat, where the
know.
parking lot is, where
Did you sign
pickleball
it?
is. What's that?
Sorry.
Handprint. Nope, didn't have a hard hat. If you do go there, don't get out unless you're wearing protective, I wouldn't, don't get out, you're not allowed. Lot of trucks. They're flying.
And the next meeting, will be probably in July, I think. I think was on the schedule for, talking about the transportation grant that we received. And the rollout of that said grant. So. May or may not be here.
I'll make you. There's a second?
Second.
Okay, roll call. Rosemary. Kate, Erin, second. Yes. Karen Knapp.
Yes.
Ron Powell. Jean Prado. Yes. John Krasinski.
Yes.
Marilyn Chapman. Karen Kowalski, yes.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a vote?
Yes.
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 Yes,
Yes.
Thank you.
We will be adjourned.
thank you.
Thanks, everyone.